This is the itel RS4, a gaming phone. It looks like Transsion is on a mission to attract the mobile gamers this year. There is the Infinix GT20 Pro, the Tecno Pova series, and now on the more budget end, the itel RS4. But it's called a gaming phone, so this video will be focused more on its gaming capabilities. But the main question should be, what should you expect from a $150 gaming phone? Yes, it's that affordable. The RS4 is an interesting device from itel. I say interesting because itel is a brand that we know to stick to low budget and entry-level devices. Now, while we can call this low budget, it's definitely not entry-level. Although it has some entry-level specs like that 720p display, but we'll talk about that one later. The retail box of the itel RS4 is Free Fire themed and it provides quite the unboxing experience. Now, this other box with all the extra accessories does not actually come with the retail package, and I'm not sure if itel has any arrangements to have this in retail, maybe through pre-order benefits, but this is the actual retail box, which I think you'll find on the market. The itel RS4 comes in two memory options, 8 or 12 gigs of RAM, both with 256 gigs of storage expandable by SD card. They both cost under $150, and in Naira that's about 221,000 Naira for the 12 gig version. That's affordable considering its specs. Now, design wise, you are looking at one of itel's better looking phone. A refresh from the iPhone design we've seen too much. Now, the one I got is the silvery white color. You'll notice a pattern design on the rear, but it's a glossy finish. There's a leather version I saw in their promotional material, but I couldn't find that one. Doesn't look like it will be easy to get here. For a gaming phone, this packs the essentials as spec goes, including stereo speakers. But one thing that would have made it a lot better is dedicated trigger buttons. But it's hard to complain when you consider the price point. There are actually no budget dedicated gaming phones. You could always pick up one of these to solve that problem if you depend on it. I recently started using one. Also, when you look at the display specs, it packs everything except the one area itel decided to cut corners, I guess to keep the price below $150. A 720p display is too entry level for a phone at this price point. Granted, it has a 120Hz refresh rate, but I'm pretty sure I speak for all when I say 1080p display with 90Hz refresh rate would have been a lot better. This is probably the most affordable phone with a 120Hz refresh rate, by the way. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I've ever seen a 720p 120Hz combination on any phone before. But not to talk too much, let's jump straight to actual game test. It's a gaming phone after all. During this review, I'm going to be testing 4 games: PUBG, Call of Duty Mobile, Warzone Mobile, and of course, Free Fire. I won't be using the cooling fan since it's not actually in the retail box, so you can get an idea of how it handles heat while gaming for long sessions. The stopwatch is to show how long I've been gaming, and I'll be monitoring the device temperature for each game. Don't mind my gaming skills, I'm a casual gamer, so I'm not that good. I chose to start with Free Fire Max since the device is Free Fire themed. You can play up to max graphics, but I played at the default, which is ultra graphics with high res and high FPS. The gameplay was flawless. Free Fire is not exactly my favorite FPS game as I don't like its pace, but I like that I had no issues playing it here. Now, before I started my gaming session, the device was between 33 to 34 degrees Celsius. While playing Free Fire, it never got above 37 degrees. I played for just a little over 20 minutes before switching to the more demanding Warzone Mobile. This one can only be played at low or minimum graphics. I went with the default low graphics option but increased the frame rate to 60 FPS. Now, while the gameplay is not flawless, I'm impressed the itel RS4 can handle it. Now, note that this is a recently released game that lacks the proper optimization. It causes heating issues for even flagship phones. For extra context, my Galaxy A55 can barely run it. Not that it's incapable, but it's just to show you the extent of the lack of optimization of the game. So it's a big deal that the RS4 can handle it, even if on low graphics and with a little lag. The lags are more of occasional skips and does not significantly affect the gameplay. I've had a session where I had 9 kills on Rebirth Island using this phone. That's a lot for a casual gamer like me. It is the game I've played the most on the RS4 and I've never had reason to worry about the phone heating. But for the sake of this video, I'm monitoring the temperature. While playing Warzone Mobile, the device got as hot as 40 degrees. But as I continued playing, it dropped just below 40 and maintained between 38 and 39 degrees Celsius. I spent over 25 minutes on this one. Now 40 degrees is still within the normal range. The most optimized game here is Call of Duty Mobile. the regular one, not Warzone. The graphics option is medium and high frame rate. Reducing it does not offer higher frame rate option, but you'll be pleased to know that unlike with Warzone Mobile, there were no lags here, and the graphics look much better thanks to the optimization of the game. Now bear in mind, I've been gaming for a while and this is the third consecutive game. The device maintained just below 40 degrees in temperature and the gameplay was not affected. With PUBG Mobile, you can play at HD graphics and high frame rate, or if you want higher FPS, you can drop the graphics to smooth and get the ultra frame rate option. PUBG turned out to be less demanding than the Call of Duty titles as the device maintained below 38 degrees Celsius. With all 4 games tested, my gaming session lasted 90 minutes and only Warzone Mobile got it to 40 degrees. Longer sessions on Warzone or Call of Duty Mobile might get it above 40 degrees, but I think the RS4 will do just fine. Note that few seconds after a long gaming sessions you might experience some lag within the UI, but it quickly goes away. The Mediatek Helio G99 is probably the most reliable processor from Mediatek in the last 2 years. I've lost count of the number of phones running this processor and it's easy to see why so many manufacturers are repeatedly using it. It may not give you the highest graphics options in games, but it provides consistency and does not overheat. Now, aside from gaming, the itel RS4 offers your standard smartphone performance and is perfectly capable of handling the average smartphone function. It multitasks just fine for a budget phone, also has impressive RAM management. Software is another area itel still cut corners. Android 13 is what we get with the RS4 and they are not exactly known to offer OS upgrades, so you'll probably be stuck with Android 13 for however long you choose to use this phone. They could have at least made it Android 14. 15 is already around the corner, but it's probably not a deal breaker. The latest Android version will have little to no effect on how it games. Plus, Android 13 is very much still relevant for a couple of years to come. If you doubt me, ask those still using Android 11 on their phones. Fun fact, Android 13 is currently the version of Android most users have on their phone. Now hey, I'm not trying to make an excuse for itel here, I'm just trying to sneak in a fun fact. Moving on, the software here is as expected, itel OS 13.5. Now while you get the typical bloatware apps, no unsolicited ads here. I'd say the battery life of the itel RS4 is quite impressive, but it's easier to show you the results from the gaming session I had. I started gaming with the battery at 95%, and by the end of a 90 minutes gaming session, I had 74% battery left. Pretty solid for a 5000 mAh battery if you ask me. Now you can charge this phone within an hour with this 45 watts charger. The itel RS4 sports a 50 megapixel main camera on the rear. You can ignore the activity with the camera bump, it's just one proper camera. The selfie camera is 8 megapixels. I didn't focus much on trying out the cameras on this phone since it's a gaming device. Gaming devices are not known to have great cameras, and it's a budget phone, so expectations should be low. But from the few photos I captured, we can say it does a decent job. Not the best for its price point, but I believe you'll be getting it more for its gaming performance than its cameras. Either way, should you need to take some nice photos, it can do that just fine. The RS4 is a solid phone from itel and I like the direction they are headed. However, I think it's high time they adopt more of 1080p displays. If I remember correctly, only the itel S23 Plus has a 1080p display among their lineup, but that ended up with 60Hz refresh rate. Surely we can meet in the middle with 1080p and 90Hz. Other than that, this is a great budget gaming device. Other phones you can buy for the price of the RS4 are the 4GB version of the Samsung Galaxy A15 4G if you are lucky, or the Tecno Spark 20 Pro. Can't think of any other at the moment. They all have the same Helio G99. That is all from me. I'll be in the comments to answer any questions I didn't cover in the review. Peace.